Just when you thought Pioneer Arms was gone and they could no longer hurt you. False. Yep, in today's video, we are going to go over a brand new Pioneer Arms gun and talk a little bit about the shenanigans that happened last year. Before we get into Pioneer Arms and just what the hell happened, if you like this video and you want to support us, we don't do Patreon and we don't do paid ad reads for ball sack razors. The best way to support us is to go to thirdpinthreads.com, get a hat, get a t-shirt. We have all kinds of cool AK merch on there. That's all hand drawn by Paul out of Red Stag Tattoos in Austin. He does really great work. We're happy to have him on board. That's the best way to support us. And we own that company, man. We're not shilling stuff that you guys don't care about, and it does directly affect this channel when you do pick up a t-shirt, so I greatly appreciate it. All right, so what the hell happened with Pioneer Arms? Well, it's really not that interesting of a story. Basically, the Polish ownership came over to America and just fired all of the American employees at the Pioneer Arms importer. You see, these are made in Poland. The Pioneer Arms here that sells them stateside, they're just an importer, and they basically just all got let go, and it seems like they restructured. At least that's the way that I understand it. So they never really died. They just shut down for a while here in the States. For our fellow Redditors out there, I'm sure that you were very happy when Pioneer Arms closed its doors last year, as were a lot of people, because the brand actually was not well loved. And at the time that they closed, they were the absolute cheapest AKs available, new production AKs, and honestly did not have the best reputation. We actually have a 3-part series where we picked up an underfolder, a 5.56 that they made. We got that thing for below 600 bucks shipped, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but the results were interesting, contrary to belief. Anyway, shortly after that, they closed, man. And again, some people were happy to hear that. Other people poured out a little bit of Colt 45 for one of the dead homies because it's just one more importer that no longer brings in stuff. So honestly, it was kind of sad. It was. Whether you like it or not, Pioneer Arms is back from the dead. About 2 months ago, they just started popping up out of nowhere and they're distributing guns again. It looks like the 7.62s came first, and now those 5.56s are hitting the market again. So I was pretty excited to see that even without discount codes like I used, you can still get those things for in the 600s, well below $700, which is pretty crazy. So it technically, from everything I can see right now, it is still the cheapest AK money can buy. Without a doubt, the cheapest 5.56 AK that money can buy. So I got another one. Last time when I did a review on one of these Pioneer Arms guns, I just bought it. Found it for a really good price. It was too good to be true. Bought it, did a full 3-part series. I've already talked about that in this video. Pioneer Arms had no idea who I was or that any of those videos were going down. And they shortly thereafter went out of business, or they were all fired and then eventually restructured. So there's someone there now that reached out and said, hey man, would you like to review a new 5.56 AK from the new production? And I said, man, I don't know. Have you fixed the firing pin issue? Because that was definitely a big problem with the last regime and those firing pins. And the reason why that's a bigger problem than just breaking firing pins is replacing them. The bolts on these guns, they're barrel spec. It's not WBP, it's not AKM, it's not AK-74. You can't use any of those firing pins. You have to use specific FB barrel spec 5.56 firing pins. Those don't grow on trees. Arms of America barely gets them in anymore. I don't think they've had them listed on their website for months at this point. So if you break one firing pin in this gun and you can't find a replacement, you're done. The gun's a paperweight at that point. They claim it's not an issue anymore. We shall see. But they also sent a bag of firing pins. So what does that tell you? I don't know. Alrighty. Yeah, this one's pretty sparse. Remember, they sent this one to me, so it doesn't have like all the stuff that the last one did that I actually bought. So let's actually see what we got going on here. Right off the bat, you guys can see it's a fixed stock. It's got the charging handle condom, the chamber flag, the firing pins, and one of their 30-round proprietary mags. And it also looks like they've already got the muzzle brake installed that actually came in a baggie last time I bought one of these. So I doubt this is how it's going to come. If you were to get one of these, this is probably how it came, just because they sent it to me. And I'm already noticing differences. That safety is completely different than how it used to be, and that mag paddle looks a little bit longer than it used to be. So that's a little interesting. Yeah, their pins, I've also noticed, are a little different even compared to barrel pins. So if you were to look at an FB barrel firing pin, they're actually flat. These are cylindrical, and they have a wider section in the front and in the rear. Yeah. Interesting. I've seen these things everywhere from $650 to like $675 price-wise. So if you compare that to any other 5.56 AK on the market, this absolutely is the cheapest 5.56 AK on the freaking market. If you were to buy a barrel, maybe like a SAM 5, you could buy 2 of these and a case of ammo for what one of those guns cost. Maybe even more than a case of ammo. That's how cheap these are compared to all of the other 5.56 AKs out there. Even like the mid-tier, the M90s, the WBPs, these are still about half the price. So, you know, what can we honestly expect out of that? So what I want to do in this video is show you up close this gun here. Any differences I see compared to the last one that I reviewed a year ago. What does it feel like? Do optics mount on the optic rail very well? Can we swap out muzzle devices? Does it take aftermarket furniture pretty well? What magazines rock and lock into this thing? Last time the mag well was too tight in my opinion, and some mags just were total no-goes. But we found that Polish mags did work very well, so hopefully that's still the case. But the biggest problem is those damn firing pins. Now that they're back, hopefully they can start replacing a bunch of firing pins from the last batch of guns that broke a lot of them, but that's, to me, the biggest thing that I want to see happen. Can we get through 1,000 rounds without breaking a single firing pin? I certainly hope so. So we're going to test that in next week's video. But in today's video, deep dive on the gun. We're even going to paint this thing today and fully kit it up before we go hit our range session in about 4 days. So let's take a deep look at this new Sporter and then pimp it out a little bit before we go hit the range. Well, you're getting a nitrided barrel. You're getting a 45-degree gas block. This is all AKM spec. What I do like is you're getting laminate wood, which is really cool. Laminate's really good at stopping cracks from progressing. You have layers of wood. See the stripes? The layers of wood that are all glued together, so if this outer layer were to get a crack, it would just travel to the next layer and stop. It can't progress past that point. If this were hardwood, like the Zastava stock, a crack can start and travel the entire, it'll just follow the grain, it'll travel the entire length of the stock and could honestly be pretty bad. One of the biggest complaints people have with solid wood stocks from Zastava right now. This has laminate, so honestly at the price, that's pretty cool. I dig that. Sling loop on the bottom of the stock there. No provisions for a cleaning kit. Would be kind of cool. I'm sure it would add cost if they had to have the, you know, the spring-loaded mechanism inside the stock to hold a cleaning kit, so that probably would drive up the price. So if it keeps the price the same, doesn't bother me, but it would be cool. You're going to get factory iron sights front and rear. There's your leaf. And this one actually moves pretty freely. That's how you increase your power level there. This one goes all the way up to power level 10. You can see there. Put it back to the lowest power level. Something I didn't mention earlier, it is very nice that they are including the cleaning rod. There's a lot of other AKs out there that they're charging a couple $100 more for that don't give you a cleaning rod. Any AKM, any AK should be sold with a cleaning rod. I think they look extremely dumb if they have the provisions for it and you don't run a cleaning rod. And they're just nice to have. Guns get stuck cases, guns have problems at the range. AKs are not completely impervious to that. You absolutely should be selling AKs with a cleaning rod, so it's nice that it comes with it. Pioneer Arms in Rodham, Poland logo. Again, not to be confused with FB Rodham. FB Rodham, they do military contracts. They make the barrels full size and the mini barrels. They're made in the same town as Pioneer Arms, but it's not the same company. RS Regulate with a 507C on it. This is AKM spec. This should fit on this gun. Oh yeah, I didn't even have to tune it. There you go. Nice and centered. So the optic mount on the side seems to be placed well. It is AKM spec. You see how low that dot sits to the dust cover? That's exactly how it should look. So yeah, man, I would say your optic mount is good to freaking go. And a pretty big, pretty useful mag paddle, I would say. I think that's a very generous mag paddle. Very easy to get this mag in and out. But we need to try out some other mags to see if they fit. AK-74 mag. Fits a AK-74 mag very well. So if you wanted to run like a Pod Arms follower in it, we actually did that the last time we reviewed these and it worked pretty well. the Bulgarian Circle 10. These are known to be extremely wide. I don't have much confidence. Ooh. It's in there, but you're not gonna do a quick reload with that. Coming out, comes out very nice. Huh, well now it's going in pretty well. Interesting. That one actually fits pretty well. Huh. PSA AK-101 mag. These are extremely popular mags. Very good. Priced very right. Oh man. Oh gosh. That's not very easy. Man, it seems like once you break past whatever is holding them up that first time, it starts to get quite a bit easier to go in and out. That's what she said. WBP. These are the mags we had some of the best luck with last time we did this. Yeah, not too bad. It seems like a few times in and out, again, that's what she said, it starts to get much easier. AC Unity. Very snug, very tight. Actually like the way that feels. God, there's gonna be so many, that's what she says in this video. Bulgarian commercial grade mags. Feels very good on the locking lug up front. In the rear though, you really gotta force it past. Again, it gets easier once you do it a few times. Yeah. FB Rodham. Super duper easy. Probably the best fitting one out of all of them. Pretty happy about that. Oh yeah, and this other 30 round mag. Ugh. It's in there, but you gotta put it in with everything you got. It comes out pretty well. Big chubby 30 rounder. We're definitely gonna try that out in next week's video. And just because I had it here, Bakelite 556 conversion follower. Yeah. Super easy. Ooh, a little rough. Yeah, took a new muzzle device quite well. Had a couple of rough spots on the threads, but it broke right past. And yeah, sits on there nice and tight. Just the slightest amount of wiggle. And the spring-loaded detent plunger there seems to be working very well. The bolt, honestly, is about as smooth as you would want coming out of the box. Still has a little bit of that grit from whatever coating that they're using, but that should clean up with a couple hundred rounds. You know, the trigger's not bad. Really not bad. God, that safety. All right, we're gonna fix that safety right now. That space right there is too shallow, and what's actually happening is all the tightness, the tension, is not actually from the safety being bent too much into the receiver. All of our tension is right here. You see the channel, it's already starting to wear right there, and a little bit of clearancing later. She's actually pretty buttery smooth. We also had to polish the inside of the safety there. This is unfortunate. Took a little bit of work. Not everyone has a Dremel, so Pioneer, don't fit these so tight. Now we have our safety tuned. Very easy. Very easy. Your bolt and carrier. There's your piston head. There's your bolt. This is basically a barrel bolt. It's the same dimensions. Not the cleanest tooling marks right there. You can see all those bumps and grooves. Everything else looks okay. Floating firing pins, not spring-loaded. Inside your carrier, also not the cleanest tooling marks. Pretty rough, actually. If I'm not mistaken, this happens when tools start to get a little worn out, a little dull. Okay, so all in all, looks pretty nice, looks pretty clean, some rough tooling, a very tight safety that we have fixed. And now what I want to do is go ahead and kit this thing out. I want to put some aftermarket products on it. I've already swapped out the muzzle device. One thing I want to try with this gun, because it's free to me, and they are so cheap. I'm gonna paint this thing. I never painted a gun before, so I wanted to try my hand at a camouflage pattern. We're gonna select another batch of aftermarket parts, really pimp this thing out, and then go blast in the next video. So let's go ahead and customize it. Been a couple of days, actually went to a Metallica concert last night, and while I was at that show, my very first paint job on a gun ever was drying all night in my garage. So let me just show it to you, and remember, it's the first time I've done this, so just be gentle. Blam, there we go. Before you cringe too hard, let me tell you a little bit about it. All this is just Rust-Oleum camouflage paint. So I put down a base layer of the Rust-Oleum matte tan. They call it sand or khaki, whatever the hell they call it. And then I actually cut out a triangle and a piece of cardboard to make my stripes, and I used the dark brown satin Rust-Oleum camouflage. After 24 hours, it was super chalky, and I know that's kind of a problem with this paint, so I went back to the store and actually got Krylon matte clear coat. Put a couple of coats on it of clear. It doesn't look too shiny. It's still fairly matte, and it's kind of sealed everything in where the paint's not coming off on my hand, and I'm not getting that chalky residue left over. I would definitely recommend using Krylon for everything. I didn't have any local to me. The best I could do was find the Rust-Oleum, but I could find the clear coat, so it is what it is. And I also have to give a big shout out to A&R Designs. I actually got this idea from him on his channel. He did a scheme similar to this on a Galil Ace a few weeks ago, and I just thought it was a simple look, easy to do, hard to screw up. The tan and the brown, thought it looked cool. I don't think it's the best looking paint job in the world, but it's something, and it's a little different. Up front, we do have that JMac RRD 2C, so we can put our suppressor on it. Bam. Last time we did a review on one of these guns, we suppressed it with a Wolverine, not a Sandman, so curious to see if we'll have any extra results. What I'm super excited to try is one of our Delta Tech muzzle devices. I've got a full review on this. Unfortunately, man, I don't know if this stuff's ever gonna hit the market. Even when it was here briefly, it was really expensive. I think like 800 bucks, so I don't know, man. If he ever does put them back on his website, hopefully they come back substantially cheaper, if they come back at all. I'm happy to have gotten one when I did, but it's cool because I haven't tried 5.56 through one of these, and because this gun has 14x1 threads with a detent, should be able to take that device off and put this on there as well, so we can actually test it, see what it feels like. This is the 1791 Magnite lower, kind of a proprietary metal blend. We have a full review on this as well. If you just look up 1791 like Zenit clone handguard. Here's what's interesting though, that I didn't know about this gun that I learned trying to install the upper portion to this AK. The ferrule here crimped onto the gas tube. It's way too fat, and it would not allow me to actually slip this over the factory gas tube. It was way too fat in the rear, and I would have to Dremel this, which I did not want to do. So one thing that is very different is the gas tube on this gun. So if you're putting one of these on there, maybe some Zenit Co, maybe some other handguards that require you to leave your stripped gas tube on, they may not fit because it's way too fat in the rear. People ask about this all the time, man. They're not made anymore. This was made by an Instagram page called Gangster Grips, and he was actually using the arms quick detach 1913 mount. He actually cut a Romanian grip in half, flipped the bottom the other way. That's why it looks a little peculiar, kind of looks like an optical collusion. And sent it to me a long time ago. I've had it ever since, and it looks cool on guns and gets people talking, so we're gonna put that on here. I did not want to paint that. The trigger on this felt so good, I didn't want to switch it out. So factory trigger, factory mag latch. Of course, earlier you saw we loosened up that safety, and when we painted this, we did plug that hole, so we didn't get any paint inside the receiver. The optic mount that we decided to use was RS Regulate AK301, forward biased with a hollow sun. What is this called? A 507C? Don't know if I've ever mounted this on a gun in a video. I may have, I just don't remember. But I was seriously considering putting the TWS dogleg on this gun, but because this rifle has an optic mount on the side and the last one I reviewed did not, I wanted to see if we had any problems with this optic mount being out of spec, not holding zero, whatever. So for now, we're gonna go ahead and run it like that. We may end up switching the TWS dogleg onto this eventually, and I'm gonna have to paint it to match somehow. Can't wait to try it with a brake, suppressed, and with the Delta Tech booster. This is gonna be really cool. that is how I have this thing set up. Not too crazy. This is just a combination that I have found really works. So please bear with me. I know some of you might be pissy that we're not actually going to shoot it in this video. First impressions, we'll get to it next time. So let me know down in the comments below, how do you guys feel about it so far? Have you noticed that these things are back on the scene? And what do you think is going to happen next week when we blast this thing? Like I say, full 1,000 rounds in one range session. I really hope it provides the same results that the last one did without breaking firing pins. If it can do that, that's going to be kind of special. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Impact.